we've got some really great comparisons against Twitter feeds. Like, for example, it's 700 times more energy used to tweet on Twitter, at minimum 700 times more energy if you don't include images, than it is to do a transaction on Phantasma chain.
Thank you for your time today, and I know you've been really busy over the last 6 months. There's been a lot of changes and a lot of things going on over at Pavilion. We've seen a couple of new titles come out recently, and so I appreciate you taking some time today out of your busy day to catch us up on some of all these things that we're seeing, and perhaps some insight into some of the things moving on in the future. So
yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me involved as well. It's always nice to get the chance to sort of talk a bit about what we're doing. We're pretty busy in the studio, and we're often sort of say like heads down, bottoms up. We kind of have to. We're doing a lot, and we just sort of get stuck into work, and I realize we don't sort of pick our heads out and let everyone know what we're doing all the time. So it's good to have this opportunity. So the first thing I wanted to mention, actually, I've kind of made a mention of this. I've updated the website recently with a little sort of quote near the top. But it's something I wouldn't mind the community helping us out with. It's around our first birthday with Pavilion. So Pavilion's been out for around 12 months, I think, now. So, so I don't know, I have to do a little birthday cake, a little celebration at some point, because 12 months live is a pretty nice milestone. It's around now. So
just don't expect me to bake it, mate. Cheesecake shop or nothing. That's it.
I'll take cheesecake shop any day. It's all good with me. So yeah, 12 months live. It's around 12 months live now. So that's our first little celebration announcement. So some people might have seen, we just recently launched a new feature with AMD. So we've been working with AMD for a little while now on this new feature of theirs. It's a pretty cool feature. It's about, firstly, it makes the game look good, but it's also about accessibility. So that's a big thing with us. We get a lot of people trying to play our game on non-gaming machines, so playing on pretty low-end kind of laptops. Excuse me. Playing on sort of lower-end laptops and maybe wanting to do 4K gaming on gaming machines as well. So this new feature called Fidelity FX Super Resolution basically allows people to sort of render a smaller frame and render faster, higher frame rates, and then scale that up.
I saw
so it's been cool.
Your video that you put on Twitter there, the AMD. The gentleman from AMD, and going through all the different features and whatnot. And it was actually really enlightening to understand all the different elements of shadowing that this technology has gotten built in. Really neat.
Yeah, it is really neat. I think, one of the reasons why we like working with AMD and I think they like working with us is we have our own engine. So when they have new features, we're able to really go in there and sort of, it's like if you own your own car engine, you build the whole thing from scratch yourself. If somebody wants to kind of put a new supercharger on it, then you're exactly the people to speak to, because you know exactly where that supercharger goes and how to connect it all up to make it sort of get the best out of, the best for the car and the best out of the new sort of component. So so that's been good. Some other news, we haven't actually announced this yet ourselves, but just a couple of days ago we signed up with NVIDIA for their GeForce Now platform. So they've got a game streaming platform called GeForce Now. You can sign up and essentially stream your games that you own in other platforms. So like Steam, for example. So you can play 22 Racing Series if you own it on other platforms, including Steam. So we're also talking to them about, sorry. It's a bit congested.
Well, you're not even, that's like dirty talk. You're not even wearing a mask. Holy people would pay for this.
I'll start this one again. So the other new thing that we've got that I haven't even announced yet is a thing called GeForce Now. So NVIDIA's got their own streaming platform called GeForce Now, where you can stream games that you own. So that basically includes games that you might own on Steam. So if you have a GeForce Now account, it's only it's a pretty new platform. It's only in I think North America. I don't know all the places, maybe Europe as well. It's not actually in Australia yet. So I can't officially play it unless I do a VPN. But for players in those regions, you can use GeForce Now and Stream 22. We are talking to them about including Pavilion games in that network as well. So that'll be a thing we're we'll keep on pursuing. And they're keen on it, but we're just sort of doing some other discussions at the moment. So that's, and there's some other things going on there too, but we'll just leave it at that for now. What else is there? So there's some updates going into 22 as well. So we've got a few things going on, getting ready for multiplayer. Because of this new rollout with AMD, we decided to kind of put a couple of features in the game ahead of time. So that's some frame rate improvements, which some of the players will like to know. There's also the loadout configuration. So a big part of multiplayer for 22 Racing Series is going to be tuning your loadout so that you've got different vehicle upgrades and abilities when you're working together as a team. So the loadout config is in the new build. So that's live in Pavilion as of sort of like 10 hours ago. So if you've got the game on Pavilion, you can go check that out. There's a thing that's mostly done, but we've kept it out for this current build, but it'll be going in the next build pretty soon after, the vehicle tuning. So people remember from our launch when we sold the cars, they've got different tuning stats. So we're basically near finished building that, but we just kind of like kept it out for this current build just because it was like got a few little things to add to it. But you'll see the tuning mode in the menu in the game and in the in-game menu as well. So that feature is kind of in but commented out, but that's very close to done. So that'll be going into another build very soon. What else is there? So with moving off. Oh, so did you want to say something, Scott?
No. I'm taking it all in. I know that this is good news for the community. Everything from Pavilion and the game. It's excellent.
Well, you're breaking the grain a little bit, the crypto grain, and going with the unpopular approach of making things work that the actual vendors mention. Mm-hmm. I had some interesting conversations yesterday online about the people that say, hey, maybe AMD might do this. Hey, what if AMD did this? What if NVIDIA did this? What if, and they're like, wow, such moon, such wow. And I'm like, these guys they're already doing it. Like it's up online. Did you want to check that out? And then you just get your ass handed to you. It's not even worth it. I find that whole part of crypto just to be extremely, you got to have a sense of humor, put it that way.
Yeah, like we basically just like to deliver stuff. I mean, yeah, as I said, we don't talk about what we're doing too much. I mean, I can make some updates on some of our marketing activities coming up as well. But we tend to like to build stuff and then try to find the customers who want to play that stuff. I mean, that's what a product is. Like you build something and let people use it. As I said at the top of this one, like our platform's been live for 12 months and there are other platforms out there who have raised hundreds of millions of dollars and they've been building things for years now and they haven't even released a platform. So, I'm very proud of our small team who have managed to build this and release it and have it live and, serve these customers and still have minted, hundreds of thousands of NFTs. And we've got somewhere above 10,000 user accounts on Pavilion now. So, it's going well, going strong. We've got more stuff coming up. So, anyway, so I'll continue. So we've got... what's next on my list of updates? We've got more games coming to Pavilion. So there's a few new games that are already in the works. There's actually one game which is got the team that's sort of developing that game actually working with us in the studio. So they're like very integrated into our team to help kind of make that work. So we're kind of helping them along essentially. A lot of people who have been on this journey with us from the start would know that we made 22 Racing Series with all of these, very sort of world-leading kind of multi-layer NFT instant minting features, and then turn that into a platform. So some of the work is basically like we did all that work custom for 22 Racing Series. So to decouple some of that stuff from the game itself and put it into the platform it's not that much work, but it's a little bit of work. So we just get these developers to work with us in the studio, and then we kind of help them to turn everything into APIs, and we're basically there, and it's been great working with the teams who are doing that. I'll say that this game that's going to be probably the next one to launch is a massive MMO space game. It's been live on Steam. The first version's been live on Steam for about 5 or 6 years. Still has a user base, a multiplayer user base. It still functions. So they're bringing the second version of that game to the platform. So we're basically going to launch their massive MMO space game with it's going to have everything you would expect from a massively online multiplayer game, like ships, sales as NFTs, buildings and space stations as NFTs, planets as NFTs, all things that it's got a decentralized organization as well. So only these different parts of the infrastructure in the galaxy give you voting rights on how resources and trade works. So anyway, it's a very, very detailed MMO. And again, this is not like, there's not going to be, hey, buy this stuff and there's a promise that we'll build a game. Like this game architecture already exists. We're basically just bringing it to Phantasma chain and on Pavilion and doing new art and sort of building new stuff in that ecosystem. So bringing the ecosystem along with it, all that infrastructure that works, and building new ships and doing version 2.
That's I got my dog here. She's speaking up too. Tulin's got her voice that she has to talk about this. But for going back even to the story of some of the reasons it was actually the two of you that sought out and found Phantasma and the story for that, and some of the reasons why you chose to build Pavilion and your product on Phantasma. It gets back to the fundamentals of building the right technology to be able to be there for the use, utility, and ultimately the adoption. And so it's been wonderful to see that roll out. And now it seems like there's going to be more and more games rolling out quicker and quicker in the future, it sounds like. And, we've had a couple roll out on Pavilion. First, we had a game roll out initially, 22, and then 2 more. And then now you've just launched another one. And I saw it in your eyes. You really lit up. You're really excited for this one. And the integration of NFTs, we all understand this. It's exciting. So is that a true statement to say that we are going to hopefully start to see over the next 12 months, maybe more than what we've done?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
it's just exhilarating because look, as we build, as I said, we started Pavilion. Essentially, Pavilion was meant to be an interface to the blockchain components of 22 Racing Series, and then that's being sort of decoupled. People saw the TTRS token was the initial token for 22 Racing Series, but now that it's Pavilion, we've made the new game platform, so we're kind of decoupling everything. So now everything's running under that new game token, so that everyone can use the same stuff. And there's more stuff to come. So I'll mention a couple of other things. So people have seen Winter Fury already on the platform. So we've got some. Again, I haven't announced this, so this will be the first. We've got the single player campaign, which is the first NFT. But that NFT, anyone who owns that NFT will get awarded essentially a tank NFT, which will be the access pass to their upcoming multiplayer. So they've got another tank multiplayer coming up, sort of like a World of Tanks multiplayer that they're developing at the moment. So that's going to have like a integration with tanks and online multiplayer battles. So that's what they're working on with us at the moment. So that will be launching, they're saying, in a few months. So we'll see how that all comes along, but that's looking really cool as well. And the last multiplayer piece that I want to mention is 22 Racing Series. As I kind of mentioned before, we've got some features already going in for multiplayer that are in this current build. This went live last night, and we've got some more features that are going to be rolling out soon. So we're actively working on our own multiplayer as well, while trying to help everyone else bring their multiplayer to Pavilion. What else is there?
I guess there's components of that being integrated together, and that's I guess it makes sense if you're got leaderboards and aspects of it's fully integrated from a programming perspective.
Yeah, totally.
It's not just the game itself. It's also Pavilion to be able to facilitate all of that, and that's pieces.
Well,
we don't think about,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry.
No, go, Bill.
No, I mean, the whole premise of a game that you can race each other in esports relies on multiplayer. So it's always been the main sticking point and also the main deliverable. I was just scrolling through some of the Reddit questions, but we'll get to them at the end.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, like, it's been good for us. So we've kind of, I forgot to mention the blog post. I'll come back to that. But we've been mentioning along the way that we've had a core selection of developers that we've been working with. And it's been really great. So there's developers that I've kind of worked with or met over the last 23 years of my time in the games industry. There's been some people along the way that I've been thinking to myself, man, if only I had the opportunity to work with that team or that person, So it's been funny with Pavilion. That's basically been what we've been doing, because these people that I've been going back to that I wanted to work with years ago, I've been telling them about what we've been doing. They've also been totally on board with Pavilion and what we're trying to achieve. So they've been the people that we've been working with to bring all this together. And it makes sense that they've been thinking along the similar lines to us, but they just haven't done that blockchain integration. So they've already got the same mentality. Like I won't go through all the stories, but down to things like the people doing the Spider-Monk Entertainment doing Winter Fury and the upcoming sort of tank multiplayer mode or new license for that. They were doing, like back in their college years, they were doing esports tournaments with prize money that they would divvy up themselves. And this guy's like, oh my God, this is blowing my mind. Like we can do all that stuff with your platform. So it's been exciting to bring them in and develop all these features together so that we can all use it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, Garth. I mean, it's been awesome to catch up with you and hear everything that's going on. I'm definitely going to have to listen to the replay and maybe even slow it down. You know, I know when this is going to be on YouTube to put that to the 0.75 and take the notes. And holy cow, we'll definitely have to get all this and get it into the description field. But
yeah, it's all right. I'm a bit of a fast talker. I'm sorry about that. I just sort of
it is take it in. Yeah. And maybe it's a little bit of the accent because, you know, us people here in North America, it's I've always said, you know, Aussies, you guys tend to talk a little bit faster. It's like, oh, you got to slow it down. And sometimes Bill, what'd you say? What was that again? You know, we talk very frequently every night, but I'm starting to get it now. I think I can pick up on the speed.
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention actually is Scott. This is actually harking back to you. The blogs that we started a while ago for 22 Racing Series and Pavilion Hub, the blogs went live a couple of days ago. So I haven't even announced that yet on Twitter or anything like that. So we've got a few videos up and a few blog posts already. There's a few. Look, I'll mention this. When we launched the Gardens Between, we had a few people online questioning the voxel agents about a few different things. Like
that was fun.
Yeah, is this blockchain stuff a scam? You know, you're doing artificial scarcity, which we're not. Like, you're doing, you're trying to.
Then they started the whole proof of work stuff.
Like people were saying you're trying to like pimp a token to make money, to like a pyramid scheme. Like, no, this is just a gaming platform where you own the stuff. Anyway, so essentially we took the positive out of that, which was, you know what, there's a lot of misunderstanding in some gaming groups, around what you can do with blockchain. Look, fair enough, there are some projects out there that are doing things wrong, like there is on fiat currency. You know, like scammers are everywhere, but you don't blame the Australian dollar if somebody robs a bank. You know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah, the point was, we took it as an opportunity to go, you know what? All right, there's misunderstandings, there's some confusion. That's fine. Like, it's a new technology, we get it. So we basically took those questions and addressed them each in blog points on the Pavilion blog. So maybe stick a link to that down in the description as well, so people can go through. Like, it's people watching this will probably get it. They won't have a problem with it, but it's good stuff to share out. Like, if people complain about, is it a green blockchain? You're ruining the planet. You can direct to it. We've got some really great comparisons against Twitter fees. Like, for example, it's 700 times more energy used to tweet on Twitter, at minimum 700 times more energy if you don't include images, than it is to do a transaction on Phantasma chain. So, like, it's kind of ironic when people tweet back at us going, you're ruining the planet with the energy destruction. It's like, well, your tweet just costs 700 times more energy than the transaction on Phantasma chain. So you might want to rethink your digital footprint. Like, it's a valid point though. Like, we need to think about our digital footprint. And anyway, so there's lots of information on that blog now. It really busted our basketballs to get all that content live in a rush last week, but we got it done anyway. There's some great content there, so it's good for people to have that content to share it out and sort of spread some information.
Well, soldiers, you heard that, and you know, this is your call to arms, is to go out and share that statistic. And 700 times more energy used to tweet than it is to do a transaction on Phantasma, correct?
Minimum, absolutely minimum. That's absolutely conservative. Like, it's likely 2 or 3 times more that, but we've gone with it ultimately conservative.
Fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's a wonderful stat. That's great. So when people are complaining about it on Twitter, it's just that's awesome, dude. Man, you know, thanks for taking your time.
Hang on, there's a couple of Reddit questions I wanted to read out to Garth quickly before he goes.
Yep, go.
Got to wonder how many trees died for When Moon when Binance. It's a damn shame. So someone, relative interview 21 has asked, with AMD's FSR, how much lower has the spec of the hardware required to run 22 sort of come down to? Have you seen a noticeable drop off, or is it more that the spec's the same but the quality of life is better? I put that last bit in, but
the quality of life.
Well, I'm just saying, so you can run it on the same hardware, but you get a better experience as opposed to, your minimum spec. If you ran the minimum spec, you probably get a shitty experience. Now you run on minimum spec, you probably get a better experience. That's my take on it. I was actually curious myself, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, totally. It's a valid question. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, on one of the new machines that AMD sent us, they sent us a real beast of a machine to test stuff on.
Takes half a room.
It's down there. It looks amazing.
I've seen that thing.
So on that machine, for example, I get about, I did write it, I don't have it in front of me, I did write it down the other day. I think we get about 140 frames a second in the game at the moment, like if we have FSR off. If we have FSR on, like fully on, there's different levels. There's ultra quality, what top of my head? Ultra quality, balance, performance. I'm pretty sure they have top of my head. If you put it onto performance this is on a 4K monitor. So that machine, 4K monitor, 140 frames a second FSR off, 253 frames a second FSR on performance. So it's a massive performance hit, or gain if you're doing 4K, and the quality is basically indistinguishable. It's amazing. But that also worked for low-end spec machines. So yeah, the question was the question was sort of twofold, I guess. Like, does it bring more accessibility for people with lower spec machines? Yes, absolutely, it does. As to the question about what is the new minimum spec, I don't have that answer off the top of my head, but I think something like, we even still test on NVIDIA GTX 760s in the office. So check on that. That's like a 7-year-old card now, and it runs fine on that. I think you probably get 60 frames a second on a GTX 760. So the spec is absolutely come down. Yeah, I don't have the exact card numbers though.
Oh, there'd be a try it and see how your experience is. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Okay. And Scott, there is an etymology behind the whole Australian talk fast and not particularly coherent. It actually originates from people in the outback.
About me.
No, I'm just talking because people in the outback used to talk like this with their mouth closed because they didn't want flies to go in there. Look that up. It's a fact.
Yeah,
that's where the whole thing stemmed from.
And then where is it a factor? Where can I get the verification to give you guys a couple of beers, and it just gets faster and faster with every beer that you get? And
yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to put that through.
Pack, it's like, forget it, man.
They're gone. Gone.
That's fine.
All right. Next question, Bill.
The other one was, is the marketing affiliation with Kraken still live? Yeah, it is. I can answer that one myself. They signed a marketing affiliation. It's signed. They're in the game. We haven't seen a whole heap from that side, but the hope is it's one of those chicken or the egg things, isn't it? I mean, if it's big enough, they'll talk about it, but if they won't talk about it until it's big enough. So
I guess I'll say from my side, we still have as you said, affiliate agreement with them. You'll still see their banner on our pages and our Pavilion pages. That still links to that affiliate agreement. So that's still there. I'll be transparent about this. We were talking to them about using them as the payment gateway in the platform. They do want to have, they essentially want to have a big platform that they're working with on that. So we've kind of put that conversation on hold until we get bigger. We are still, I think, I would say, with the only true blockchain gaming platform out there. So we've got a massive lead on everyone. We've got a year on Forte and Ultra already. I don't know when they'll come out, but
I asked about that yesterday, and I got told that I said, "Well, can I play any games?" Because someone mentioned Pavilion, and you got shot to pieces. I said, "Well, what have you guys got working?" And they said, "We've got heaps." I'm like, "Can I play it?" And they went, "No." I went, "Oh." And then they said I was entitled because I wanted to play their games.
Entitled?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not here to pick on them. I'm just saying that we've got a bit of a lead, so we're going to keep on working on growing that. Like we've got our platform out, so we're going to keep on bringing more games, bring out multiplayer, bring out more and more features. You know, add more leaderboards and tournaments. So we'll just keep on building and growing that. So yeah, we'll go back to Kraken and talk to them again about a payment gateway solution
It
later on.
is, and this is this also reminds me of why I got into Phantasma in the first place, and peeling those layers back and understanding the technology that's within it. And granted, I'm not a developer at all, but when I did research on GOATi and research on 22 Racing Series as a product, and understood you guys and your vision and your experiences, but more so, for example, you were mentioning your engine and that you've got behind it and the technology. And the more I've learned about that, that's just, I mean, that's second to none. That engine and the different applications, some that you're free to discuss and others not, that run within that engine is just absolutely fascinating. So it's that's what got
Yep.
me in, was that tech. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just
And
first mover advantage, that's pure benefits.
yeah, there's absolutely benefits there. We won't go into all the benefits, but today. But I think one thing I can mention again is I had mentioned this before. We built a thing for a car manufacturer. It was basically I can't mention the car manufacturer yet, but a big global one.
It's not far off. Not far off.
Yeah, so we built that to be it was going to be a VR sim, like a VR location-based sim experience that was going to be put throughout Australia and then connected, and probably maybe internationally as well, because it's an international car manufacturer. And then it was going to be connected online to an online leaderboard. We kept on putting that on. Well, they kept on. Sorry, the car manufacturer kept on putting that on hold because of COVID. We kept on getting locked down, and the whole idea of putting on a VR headset and touching steering wheels during COVID. I mean, like the last thing you want to do is put a headset on when you got people breathing in the same headset. It was just the COVID risk, absolutely terrible. So we had to put that on hold because that got signed before COVID hit. Anyway, so we kind of got that done, and then they put that on hold. Wait until it finished, and then COVID just kind of never finishes. Obviously, that we know that now. So we've canned that VR live activation version of it, and we're bringing it to an online service. So we're still in the process of we'll put everything VR location based out, and we're putting all the online stuff in at the moment. So
let me ask you this: if you're not in a position to disclose the particular manufacturer, but you and I, we live on different sides of the globe, and can I ask you this: is this a vehicle that both of us could go and purchase?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
They'd have to be one of the they'd be like one of the top manufacturers. I don't know all the numbers for all of them, but if they're not in the top four selling vehicles,
last I checked, it was top three. But,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, they do sort of reach out to or appeal to the people that like to drive fast.
I could maybe slip in there that I like these vehicles. I mean, maybe that's all I can say, and people can go away and assume whatever.
That's a bit of homework for everybody. Go and see what cars Garth likes.
No, I didn't say that. I just said that I like these vehicles. That's all I said. No, that's what I said.
Did they sell a yellow version of it? I know you enjoy your yellow car, and that's real near and dear to your heart. That car.
Yeah, they do. They do have yellow cars. Yes, they do have.
and red ones and black ones and white ones. Anyway, let's not dwell too much about that.
The elimination.
We're gonna. Let's just be clear here. I mean, we take the unpopular approach that when things go out, they're real. We could have been pretty sleazy about a lot of these things. I see speculation everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, AMD. Oh, what if AMD did? Oh, yeah, wow. And then everyone just the circle pat. I've got a different word for it, but in the TG groups, and you just sort of rolling your eyes, going, mate, if they were, AMD would say something. If they were, Nvidia would say something. If they were, you're selling HTC Vive VR units on your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if you gave that information to the Shill crew and see what they what they did with it? It just boggles the mind. I mean, sometimes I know it's not particularly popular, but I think we all sleep better with the unpopular approach of, look, we make it work, and when the real actual vendor says something about it, we share it. that's how things should be. I mean, honestly, I think anything else it's borderline criminal. I mean, it's false representation. It's fraud.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you start selling too much speculation, you can come unstuck. I mean, how many people are now going to jail? I mean, I just heard on the news this morning.
John McAfee topped himself last night.
Oh, did he really? He just got the extradition notice from Spain to the US.
Yeah, he topped himself.
Oh God, I didn't hear that. Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's not talk about that. Then I'd rather leave.
No, I don't. Let's just avoid it. But I'm just saying that.
But the point I was going to make is that if you do shady things now, you might get away with it. But 1 or 2, 3, 4 years. Like, so we just go with, we don't sell speculation. We're not selling vaporware dreams. Like, we talk about what we deliver. And when we deliver it, we mention it. So what you see, it's WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get.
And
you remember that one, Scott? It's an old school one, yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one. But I mean, to put it into perspective, right? I mean, GOATi Entertainment has contracts. Does work with the Victorian, the state government that we live in. They do work for the government. They are an established, proper business that does real, actual work for government agencies, for business, for everyone. Right. If you were to go down the path, the dark side of pursuing all these get rich quick things, I mean, personally, we wouldn't be here sitting around talking about it now. We'd probably be on an island somewhere having a laugh at everybody that, got whatever, or facing or trying to get in contact with our attorney or lawyer. We wouldn't be here talking about it. We'd be somewhere else, but we haven't gone that path. I mean, maybe it's not popular. I don't know, but I would like to think that we sleep better. There was another question here too that is the Travala Racing Cup still a thing? Yeah, it is. We're just waiting for multiplayer. Obviously, you can't run a cup until you have multiplayer. Are you going to be doing more esports events like that? Yeah, absolutely. That was always the plan for the game. And in regards to card manufacturer, obviously we've already covered that. So I mean, running through everything here, that's pretty much everything the guys had for you. Yeah.
Look, in terms of the multiplayer stuff, just to address that question, I mean, I haven't sort of actually heard this myself directly, but I've heard it indirectly through people like you, Bill. There's like we've bitten off a lot. We never said we'd build Pavilion. That was never a plan of ours. We never promised that. But we have delivered it. So we've delivered something we didn't promise, which is a gaming platform that's used by more games. And so we essentially made a call around sort of late last year, early this year, around Christmas, where we thought, okay, look, we've got this fantastic game platform that other games can use. We can keep on pushing on with our multiplayer, get that out, and try to attract players, and then try to manage the multiplayer while we get other games on board. But it would make more sense for us and for the community and for the growth of adoption of Phantasma Chain to get a few more games into the platform now. Essentially, is prove what's already there, prove that it's already a platform other games can use. Then let other people continue building their multiplayer while we build our multiplayer, and then have more games bringing their multiplayer to the platform at the same time. So that's what we've done. That was the decision we made, and we think that's going to be for the best because we're going to have more games bringing more players to the platform and to Phantasma Chain. So that's well,
if you look at the Gardens Between, it's gotten to the point where, like I said, like Garth was saying before, they did a lot of bespoke things to make. I know that for a fact because we're on the chain side trying to get it all up and running. A lot of it was bespoke. We had to build a lot of things, and it was specifically built in for that title. So that the next approach is, okay, how do you take all that out, put it into a platform? Because at a point in time, the guys at GOATi went, well, how do we give this same benefit and experience to other people? And it was kind of a good time to do it because we went through 8 months of COVID lockdown. So you just sort of buckled down and went, all right, this needs to be repeatable. This needs to be consistent. This needs to be turnkey. It needs to be easy. Well, fairly easy. So we're at a point now, because of all the hard work that you guys have done, that any game, any contemporary game that has an in-game economy, which is pretty much every game, can take their build, put it in, make a few tweaks, it's running. That is a massive concept. So if you look at, everyone's like, oh, okay, well, hang on, this game was launched a couple of years ago. It's on the Nintendo Switch and everything else, and now it's launched on here with NFTs. You've got to remember, every time one of those games launches, and then you give the concept of ownership, the concept of achievement, and being able to earn things that have real tangible value, all those titles that come across, they've got communities of their own. I mean, I think the Gardens in Between. I was looking at Nintendo alone, and it had like 16,000 downloads just on the Nintendo eStore. You know, they have large, real, actual gaming communities that don't care about all the crypto nonsense. They probably never watched a crypto video in their life.
And keep in mind too that all of those developers have other games that they're working on. So it's about getting more developers to bring their platforms, bring their games to the platform, and then they can bring their future games to the platforms, and they can tell their developer friends about it. Like, we've got to start somewhere and then spread it out.
Yeah, and I think it's been awesome. Really, you know, I mean, obviously it's to the detriment of, you know, the progress of 22, but that's all back on track. And you know, stay tuned, everyone. I would say.
Cool. That's it. I guess that's it for me.
Where's that button? There we go. I always got to find the mouse to hit that button when I'm listening in and looking over and stuff like that. And this has just been a very fruitful and very in-depth conversation. Very thankful, Garth. And I know when we first talked about, you know, inviting Garth to the Phantasma channel to get a little bit of an update, we said, oh, we'll get it, you know, talk for 15 minutes or so. And here we are, just had a full overview. It's been fantastic, but it's been good, and it's important because Bill, thank you for reminding us of what you just went through, and that's just it. That, you know, sometimes in business there is a little bit of a change, and we're adapting to the market, and with what we've got and Pavilion on the Phantasma chain is much bigger than what the game itself 22 initially could have brought to us. And so Garth and GOATi, we're very thankful for that, and we're very excited to continue working together, and just vastly impressed with the potential of what Pavilion is going to bring moving forward. So it's been great, and you know, having said that, just want to thank you for your time, and you have yourself a great evening. Or morning, actually, afternoon for you. It's
we're about to clock over in 8 minutes, but yeah. And you just got an interesting insight to what dinner parties and you know, going away to the parents' beach house sort of, you know, ends up devolve. You know, it starts off with a 5-minute conversation. 2 hours later, we're still crapping on, and partners and kids and stuff are just walking around going, "Oh, these guys."
Everyone's gone to bed, and we're still talking blockchain. yeah, we love it.
Well,
we love it.
Even at your brother's place in Tasmania, and he's just like, actually, but you know, that was quite an interesting experience. He went, "Oh, okay, that actually all makes sense now," because it was just confusing the crap out of him. So,
yep. Well, alrighty, guys.
Sounds good. All right.
See you, mate.
Adios. See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.